Hello guys, welcome to another video. So in this video we are going to look at Petroff Defense, how white can play against Petroff, and especially because it's a very strong defense from the black side. So we will see that how white can complicate the position, or let's look at some real practical chances, okay, where probably engine will say 0-0, but we will not look at the engine evaluation, but more often our play will be based on the practical games, practical chances and everything. So without wasting any more time, let's jump into the screen. So if you all of you know that Petroff defense starts after e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6. And here white is having lots of options. So one option is definitely to take the e5 pawn. Other option is to play d4. Another option is to, if you want to avoid, then you can play knight to c3 to 4 knights. We are inviting to transpose it, but we'll see that knight e5. And here black has mainly three options, two options I would say. One is recently practically trending knight c6 line, which is, I don't like this line. White is black is sacrificing a pawn. I think it is known as Stafford Gambit or like that. So let's look at this line, and then we will be looking at the d6, which is the main move here. So knight c6, so it got lots of popularity during the COVID time because of the pawn sacrifice and the blitz player, but it doesn't make any sense in the classical format. So knight c6 will accept it, d takes, and the main plan behind black is to go for the development, and white, because white is behind the development, so black is saying that okay, my pieces are quite faster in terms of developing, and then we'll try to put pressure on your king side or in the center. But if as far as white knows what he is doing, is completely fine. So d3 will be keeping support to this pawn, ready to develop our bishop, and this bishop will go to e2, knight c3, and once white will develop the pieces, then white is simply a healthy pawn up. Bishop c5, black's main idea is to concentrate his attack on the f2 square. So bishop e2, again we are stopping this knight g4 kind of threats. So h5, black's main idea again trying to come and attack on the f2 soft f2 square. But let's see if what will happen if knight g4 will come. We'll be simply taking it, queen h4, threatening on f2 and looking for some double attack, but that doesn't make any much sense because queen f3, if bishop will take, so queen g3, queen h5, h3, and bishop d1, and there is a very nice way to trap this bishop because the bishop comes here to take here, but we will play knight c3, bishop c2 and king d2, and the bishop is trapped. So this knight g4 idea doesn't work here, so we'll look at the h5 idea and c3. Now white wants to play d4 and blank this bishop on c5. So bishop to b6, because otherwise d4 is coming. Now again knight g4, it doesn't make sense because after d4, queen h4, then g3 will not let black to do any kind of threat. Queen f6, bishop f3, bishop b6, h3, and once black will push back all the pieces, white is completely dominating with a strong center, better pieces. White can look for some long castle, even if you will keep the king on the center for a little bit longer time, that also completely fine. Let's look at bishop b6 first and then knight d2. This is the simplest option. We will be playing d4 to keep a protection on the e4 pawn. a4 was also possible instead of this knight d2 a4 and then followed by bishop g5 was also possible, but knight d2, this is the simplest one. c5 with the idea of stopping d4, but knight c4. Even white can do castle here, but I like this move of knight c4 with the idea of I simply chop off the bishop on b6, then bishop e3, short castle, or maybe queen d2, long castle. White is having both options open. White is very much flexible here. So this is all about against the Stafford Gambit, so which is popular in online blitz chess, but doesn't make that much problem in the classical format as far as you know that what white is doing. So let's go to the next popular move, which is definitely we'll be checking on the d6 path, right, which is definitely the main move. And here we'll be checking one of the key main line, and after d6 knight f3 we have to come back knight e4. One is knight c3, okay, you can play, which is an attacking line which invites that after takes white usually plays with this structure and try to attack on the king side, queen d2, long castle. That is one of the setup. One more setup is also available, which is after knight e4, which is d4. Directly we are going for the main line in Petroff, where black plays this bishop d3, bishop d6, short castle, and yes, the game will go on. This is one of the line, but we will look at one little bit surprising side line, but many of players will not prepare against it, so we'll be playing with c4. So this is a rare move, but yes, Ali Reza Firouzja played this game against this line against Ian Nepomniachtchi in the candidates last 2022, and the game ended in a loss for white and the move went unnoticed. But the idea of this move is to obtain position with free piece play or some of the lines of the Petroff, but without all theory and avoiding the theory on the way there. So now white wants to develop with d3, d4, knight c3, bishop d3, bishop e3, castle, and the game will go on. Black is having two reasonable alternatives here. One is bishop to e7, one is knight to c6. So those are the two lines black is having. Mainly those are the two moves, okay. So we'll be checking. One line will check with the bishop e7 and another line will be checking with I would say knight to c6, okay. And we'll try to understand the idea rather than memorizing lines or anything, okay. So let's look at bishop e7. Now we have to understand, if we play d3 here, so black will go knight g5 and black will exchange the pieces, and this is pretty good position for black. Black doesn't have any weakness. Black can obtain free piece play or maybe bishop to f5, castle, and black is comfortable, completely fine and comfortable. So we'll be playing d4. We'll play energetically here, castle, bishop to d3, knight f6, okay. If you play here d5, if you play here d5 and then knight c3, again it will transpose kind of things, knight f6, and now very important move, black really wants to play bishop g4. That is a good square for this bishop, and then black wants to play bishop h5 and g6, so we'll stop it with h3. We can afford to play this h3 move because white is not under any immediate pressure. We have a firm control over this g4 square. Now d5, castle, and we are inviting black to give us an isolated queen's pawn position or IQ2 position, okay. So dc4, bishop c4, knight b d7. Again, knight c6 is not a good way to play against IQP. Usually black tries to play c6 and try to get a firm control over this d5 square. That's the idea. So bishop to b3, because knight b6 is coming, so we'll play prophylaxis, move bishop to b3, knight b6, queen d3, and this queen now stops bishop f5 idea, okay. This is very important move to play queen d3, c6, rook e1, white is simply developing naturally, knight b d5, at knight b4 will come with a tempo. So very important move is a3, stops any kind of knight b4 threat. Even bishop is having another option, knight c3 is coming, bishop g5 or bishop d2, then rook c1, rook d1. White is having a very good piece play, h6, knight c3. White will simply develop the way white is developing, knight c3, bishop a6, bishop c2, and once the bishop is transferred to this diagonal, definitely black will take here. Let me tell you the idea how white is going to play here. white will develop this bishop on d2, rook to d1, and if possible again we will transfer the bishop to c1. Another plan is if black will chop off our knight on c3. So this is a very good position where even white bishop can go to b2, and we can think of some sort of sacrifices. The b file is open, white can put some pressure on the b file, knight can jump to e5, and white is having very good piece play. That's the overall idea which you have to remember. So white is having two options to go with. Either will play bishop d2, rook d1, and then again bring back our bishop to c1, where our both rooks are white activated. Knight can jump to e5 later on. That is a plan. Even knight can come to e4. We'll see how black is going to play, and according to that we'll react. And another idea is knight to c3 check. Okay, so that's the thing which we have to remember. Now we will look at one of the main move, which is knight to c6. Now we'll be playing d3 because now knight g5 option is not available for black. d3, knight f6, and now d4. So we have already pushed back the knight on f6. Now we are ready to play knight c3, bishop d3. Even if possible, we can play d5 and we'll grab more and more space in the center. Bishop e7. Now again we can play knight c3 and black can play d5, cd5. Transposition happen, but we will be playing d5. We'll grab the space in the center. Knight e5, knight e5, d5. The point is this exchange on the center simply gives white a very simple option to play. Okay, our development is simply going with this kind of knight c3, bishop b3 short castle. Very simple gameplay. Knight c3, white develops. Black is trying to undermine white center, and but castling is possible, but we will simply play bishop d3. We can see that it is not possible. cd5, and knight d5 is not possible because we'll take, and white is having, I believe, sorry, I missed something. Yeah, we can simply play bishop b5 check and we will win this piece on spot. Sorry for that. So cd5 and castle, and again castle. So here objectively I would say it is an equal position, but again black cannot take here. Now it is discovery and black will lose the queen. So after castling, this is an equal position, but white has a clear cut way to finish the development. We will be playing rook e1, h3, cover the g4 square, and this pass pawn is giving us some more space, and this c6 square is away. So knight, bishop e3, rook c1, bishop b1, and white is having good space in the center and good piece play, I would say. So white doesn't have any such problem. Black will try to block this pass pawn on the d6 square and black has to still find it out how black is going to develop this bishop, either on b6, bishop b7, or if you play bishop b6 then c6 square will become a weakness, or maybe bishop to g4 this way, but white is going to play h3 soon, or rook e8, rook c8. So whatever black will do, white is having very good piece play. So computer will say it is an equal, but practically we would say that white is having more pleasant game. So this is all the main theoretical moves or theoretical lines in Petroff, where we are bringing our opponent out of their comfort zone with c4. It's little bit sideline and went unnoticed even after Alireza Firoza played against Nepomniachtchi in the candidates, but still it went unnoticed. But yes, definitely you can try it in a classical event, even in blitz event, even in the rapid format, any format you can play. When Alireza can play it in classical game against Firoza, against Nepomniachtchi, definitely you can implement against any kind of players. Even in 2000 level, 2200 level, it's completely okay. And in the lower level open, doesn't matter that much. So definitely it's a very good surprising weapon. So with this, we are going to finish this Petroff Defense line. If you like this video, please share it with your friends and give a like. And please comment in the video. Tell me if I missed something, and if you want to add something, and if you know any kind of surprising weapon against Petroff, I'll definitely cover it in my upcoming videos. Thanks a lot for watching. Please subscribe if you are new in this channel. I hope you are doing well. See you in the next video. Bye bye. Have a good day.